Umineko! 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 I'm the letter U for Umineko. I'm also the letter M, but upside down. Do you hear it now? If not, then it's just too quiet. Okay. Okay, it's Umineko time. We're gonna Uminek all over it. Hold on. Let's add everyone real quick in the Umineko part of the server to make sure they know we're happening. It's all happening! Ellen is so fucking excited! Your favorite question arc by far? Apparently it's mine too, based on the anime. Because that little write-up I had done at the end of the show, I was like, I thought the first two arcs are kind of boring, and then the third arc kicked ass, so I'm ready for the ass kicking. I'm not ready to hear this goddamn song for the 12th time in a row. Y'all don't realize that before I go live, I will often open up the game and just have it open for sometimes quite a while. This time it wasn't that long, but sometimes I'll have it open for like a solid 45 minutes. And it loops through so quickly. It really has no chill about playing that fucking song again. I like the song, but I've heard it like 300 times now. Okay. Oh, I forgot to read the fucking text on the front. Whatever. I'll read it next time, I guess. Remind me to read that later. Probably mean more afterwards anyway. This story is undoubtedly nothing more than fantasy. It could not possibly have any relation to real persons, organizations, or anything else. Or could it? What if Beatrice is Ryukishi 07? Like textually in the game. That could be. I feel like I'd have heard about that. I feel like that'd be hard not to spoil. Let's fucking go. Alright, we're starting with a vase. This music is goddamn gorgeous. This is the only song that could ever entreat me to want to read about a vase. The vase was very, very beautiful, rich with history and value. Even as young as I was, it still forced me to take a deep breath when I witnessed its beauty. Of course, it was one of Grandfather's favorite collection pieces. So that I didn't accidentally destroy its fragile beauty, I was always strictly ordered never to touch it. But that just made me want to touch it. You could almost see right through it, and yet it was so elegant. It appeared so weightless, and yet it had an indescribable presence. I wanted to see what it felt like to touch a vase like that. However, just as Grandfather had said, it was something that must not be touched. This much beauty arises precisely because it must never be touched. It was a beauty that could only dwell in something so fragile it would break at a touch, which is exactly why if it were to be touched by it's just like Fluttershy. If it were to be touched by impudent finger, it would oh so easily, just like an enjoyable morning dream fading into nothing as you wake. It vanished, fell, and broke into smithereens. I realized that because of my own foolish curiosity, I had done something that couldn't be taken back. No matter how much I regretted it, no matter how much I apologized, the broken vase would not return to its original form. I would probably be scolded by Grandfather. Probably very harshly. This is like So, you know when they said part 2 was too difficult, so he tried to be a little more obvious with part 3? It's like he wanted to start off part 3 like, hey, the theme of this game is trauma. Generationally inspired trauma. Just making sure we're all clear. Frightened, I ended up breaking into tears and sobbing. As I did, I noticed something beautiful. Lightly dancing golden butterflies were coming towards me. The beautiful butterflies began to gather one at a time, glittering fantastically with glowing golden powder. Oh, it's Beatrice. That reliable golden witch, Beatrice, had arrived. Ayy, always reliable. That's what I'm known for. Nope. Wait. Or yes? I don't know. Maybe? The butterflies gathered one after another, grouped together, and there became her form. She was always on my side. Whenever I was in trouble, she would always appear and help me. Oh my god. Gokigenyo, ohime-sama. Hold on. Good day to you, princess. Beatrice! Oh my. Why are you crying so on a day so perfect for a tea party, my princess? I broke Grandfather's precious vase. Grandfather will get mad at me. I don't know what I should do. That is indeed worrying. I believe the master greatly treasured this particular vase. It's terrifying even for me to think about what kind of punishment you'll receive. Grandfather was a very frightening person, and once he told you something, if you failed to follow it, he would become mad with a rage that would make even the fallen angel in hell quiver. I was intimately familiar with that, which is why I couldn't do anything but shake like this and cry. I hold no magic to scoop up your fallen tears, princess. But if you want magic that will make it possible for you to avoid being scolded by the master, I might be able to do something. Really? If you will believe in my power, princess. The basis of magic power is the power of belief. Miracles will only appear before those who strongly believe. I believe in your magic, Beatrice. So please fix this vase. Please. If that is what you want, princess. Very well, then leave it to me. When she extended her index finger, a golden butterfly softly landed there and changed its form into her favorite magic wand. Even that was enough to give me a small glimpse at Beatrice's wonderful and great magic power. She pointed her wand at the broken vase and, just like a child's lullaby, she began speaking the magic words. Come, try closing your eyes, and try to remember, what form did you have? It was surely a very, very beautiful form. Please show me that form one more time. Were they words or was it a song? No, it was surely magic. After all, can't you see? The pieces of the vase are gathering together in no time at all, and softly returning to the place where they had been displayed, returning to their original beautiful form. Sugoi! See? Now it's back to normal. This way you will be able to avoid being yelled at by the master. Beatrice, you sure are incredible. It was no trouble for you to repair a broken vase. That's not true. Returning something broken to its original form is a very, very difficult thing. Drew with $5 is not totally caught up on your current life situation or aims, but good luck on your endeavors. Hell yeah. My life situation, I'm here, and I'm playing Umineko. My aims, play Umineko. Let's go.
With my magic, I could do no more than make it remember what it was for the time being.
Oh? But the vase really returned back to the way it was, right?
That's right. But that doesn't mean that I caused the vase to avoid its fate of being broken. I did nothing but make the broken vase remember how it was before it broke for the time being.
Yeah. This game does do that, though. Via the form of the weird dreams you have afterwards.
Magic power that can repair a broken fate to its original form is at a very high level that even I have yet to reach.
But it is possible. At that time, the high-pitched scream of a servant could be heard from inside the mansion. I went to see what had happened. I noticed that several of the servants had gathered and were cleaning up the remains of the broken vase. From what they said, it seemed that a black cat had sneaked in from somewhere, climbed up on the vase, and toppled it over. I understood the meaning of what Beatrice had said. At the time that I broke the vase had been broken. Beatrice had shown me that the vase had been restored, but that had been a temporary thing. It didn't mean that the fate the vase had been broken had changed. As a result, the vase had remembered its true fate and broke. But I hadn't broken it. Instead, it had been a cat which had snuck in. That's right. Beatrice hadn't said, it's literally Schrodinger's cat, came in and knocked the vase over. They managed to do it without having to make a fucking dead cat metaphor, which is I strongly appreciate. That's right, Beatrice hadn't said, let's mind the vase. Instead, it's a dead vase metaphor. She had said she would make it so that I didn't have to be punished. The fate of the vase breaking hadn't changed, but the fact that I had broken it certainly had. Beatrice had skillfully saved me from danger with that magic. So this game is about not blaming yourself. How do you find a system of logic through which you don't have to blame yourself for what the universe was going to do anyways? That's what this is trying to tell you. That's what the theme of the game is. How to unravel the systemic blame you've put onto yourself for things that aren't your fault. Because the universe was always going to break that vase one way or another. You know.
It is very easy to break something, just like how you, Princess, did not require magic in order to break the vase.
Fixing something is very hard?
Yes, so much so that you were at a loss at what to do and started crying.
So it's easier to use magic to do horrible things? To break? To kill is very easy, but fixing and reviving things is very hard, as you say.
That's right. With magic, it is much easier to do things like breaking and killing. Therefore, weak witches who lose to temptation become intoxicated with that power, which they can easily obtain, and neglect their real magic training. Real magic is the power to repair, to revive.
Yes.
To call back happiness which has disappeared, to call back love which has gotten cold. And it can call back a forgotten smile to a princess's face.
Then, Beatrice, does that mean that since you could fix the vase, you are an incredible witch?
You best believe it.
My days of training are far from over. After all, I couldn't make the vase forget its fate for even an hour. If it had been my master who taught me magic, I'm sure that she would have been able to restore the vase to its original form forever.
We're gonna meet her, I can't remember, in Freeren, there's like the elder elf who, like, even though Freeren is like tremendously more powerful than almost anybody, she is like nothing compared to the elder elf. Going back to your old form also reads to me as holding the innocence. Remember the rose Maria kept trying to tend to. Indeed. Serie, yes. What? Oh, I didn't.
If it broke and broke, she could fix it over and over again?
Yes. When one reaches that level, they are possessed of endless magical power. That is the endless level that all witches should strive to reach. As a sign of the highest respect to those witches, we call them
An endless witch.
That's right. To witches holding the power to mend something endlessly, the concept of breaking doesn't even exist. They are released from all of the sadness caused by losing things and are promised eternal bliss.
Certainly, the human world is full of sadness caused by separation and loss. To escape that sadness, people pray to God and ask for the power to withstand the sadness, believing it to be a test. In other words, a human's life is a journey, searching for a way to withstand sadness. In that case, a witch who could revive all things would be freed from all sadness in the world. In other words, it is eternal bliss.
I wonder if I could become a witch like you and gain eternal happiness.
You, princess? Oh, that would be a long, long, difficult path, you know.
I want to be a witch. I want to be happy. I want to be your disciple.
Do you even have the slightest doubt in that feeling?
No, I want to become a witch too.
All right. Then, until you get tired of it, princess, I will allow you to be my disciple. Will you call me master?
Yes, master.
That's a good answer. Then from now on, learn the depths of magic along with me. I am also in training. Let us both learn magic the right way and do our best to reach that blissful level.
Yes, master.
Witch training time! Let's go! Uh-oh. Spooky place. A dream. That face brings me back. Endless Witch, was it? A name that I had yearned for in the past as the highest achievement, now just another of my titles. No, you can even call it a name.
Every once in a while, it's nice to feel some satisfaction from that name. Isn't it something that I gained as the result of many days of training? It's a little bit of a waste if I don't feel some gratitude for it every once in a while.
I shook my head lightly. If it is called the highest level, that means that there is nothing higher. An eternal dead end, the beginning of eternal boredom.
Master said it once, that when one is released from all sadness, it is the same as eternal bliss. Which is why I think Master couldn't reach that level.
Eternal bliss means eternal boredom. That's the beginning of eternal torture. But perhaps all things depend on your point of view. Eternal boredom is the same as a sketchbook that doesn't run out of pages. It means you can draw whatever you want, can put in as much effort to enjoy it as you want. Boredom is the worst poison that kills all witches. To the great witches who hold the title Lady, this is frighteningly true. It is the eternal poison that tortures them because of the eternal bliss that they have reached.
Now that I have earned the name of Endless Witch, I truly wish to speak with my master again. Was the result of our training really happiness? And I want to talk with her about what true happiness is.
Training has no end. When you think you have reached the eternal level, that is the time to regret your immaturity. As if in answer to my own words, a memory of her saying something like that entered my mind.
I see. I am immature, am I? How nice, how nice.
So, Eternal Witch seems to be her opinion, but not her master. I mean, her master straight up told her you can't. She basically told her you can't be an Eternal Witch. As soon as you think you are, you're not. Or rather, I guess to become one, would not be able, whatever it means to become an Eternal Witch would disqualify you from the ability to identify yourself as that for some reason, which I assume means you have to be like dead, like you have to transcend death. in some fashion. And by transcend, I mean like be dead. Some painfully shrill laughter could be heard. It was from my furniture. Did they break their toy again?
Beatrice-sama! This guy stopped moving again! Even though I haven't played enough at all. What a pathetic man. I hadn't even played at all! Let me play! Let me play!
Be silent, you filth! No matter how well Beatrice-sama fixes him, he just breaks right away because you all devour him like starving dogs. You broke him the most, Satane, because you don't know restraint. My apologies, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive my cretinous younger sisters.
Fix him quickly! I'm next! I'm next!
Can you not be silent? Shut up!
Just from that single yell, the noisy sisters of the Seven Stakes disappeared and hid. They just mess around, having as much fun as they want breaking him. They only come to me to clean up afterwards. Good grief, my furniture doesn't let me get bored. What remained after... Well, if you can't get bored, then you're not... What remained after the pieces of furniture hid themselves was just a sloppy mess that was all that remained of the broken toy. It had no form anymore.
Even I find it hard to recall his original form when he looks like this. It's better to make him remember for himself. Oh well.
I waved my golden pipe, and I chanted. I made it remember.
Come, try to remember. What form did you have? After all, right now you look like nothing but a huge lump of scrap meat to me. I've no idea which parts are the arms and which parts are the legs. If you don't remember for me, I won't even be able to recall your face.
By the power of the magic, the pitiful pieces of meat began to remember what their form had been. Who was connected to who? Where was joined up with where? That's right, just like that. No, you should be a finger on the left hand. And you the right hand. That's it, good.
Good morning. Feeling awake, Ushiro Miyabatora? How truly ironic that being awake is even more like a nightmare. If you would just accept that I am a witch, you'll quickly awaken from this nightmare and I'll send you to heaven. I am the king of Mount Purgatory.
I am the king of Mount Purgatory. She just threw that sentence in there. This reminds me of the Lord of Shit Mountain.
There's no way out of this hell without my approval.
You call this hell? That's no good. Yeah, that's no goddamn good at all.
The pain of death, which humans only have to taste once, has been given to you more times than I could count with all my fingers, and yet, how can you keep talking like that? That is why I never tire. I never tire of you.
Yeah, I'm not tiring either. I mean, I get to pick and choose from these busty babes with dazzling asses in my harem. Dog. Alright, whatever you gotta tell yourself to make it through. Thanks to that, I'm not getting tired at all. This is the weirdest fetish play I've ever seen.
I am glad to hear it. Otherwise, I too would be bored. So, my furniture, I fixed him so you can play as much as you want.
Thank you very much! Cute dibs!
Didn't I say you're done? You're done. I'm next. Back off!
Wonderful, isn't it, Battler-kun? You're so popular, aren't you?
It's hard being a popular guy. Get in line, you beasts.
If you stopped acting all tough and started being honest with yourself, this would be much easier on you.
It's alright like this. His screams feel so much better this way.
Alright, let's not break him easily this time. Well, do you hear me?
You aren't in control.
So, Battler-kun, let's continue where we left off, alright? After locking Jessica-chan's room with the master key, how did they return the key to the pockets of the corpse which was inside the room?
For example, this is, again, the weirdest fetish play I've ever seen. That's it. They used a fishing line or something. Like, this is Ryukishi going like, my fantasy is having 7 demons interrogate me about my ability to solve mysteries, like fictional mysteries. And the consequences of failure is they rip me apart. The consequences of success, what success? That's it. They used a fishing line or something, and just the key went back into the room through the crack of the door. This happens in the first episode of, like, Case Closed, I think. One of the early episodes.
Wrong!
So naive. Of all the doors that exist on Rokenjima, none has a crack through which a key can slip. He got it wrong. He got it wrong. Right, this time me, my turn. Where should I strike?
Me, back of the hand! Ugh! That's mean! Then the back of the other hand! Ugh!
I'll take the tip of the nose. Why? Let me do it too. Let me strike too. Ah!
You're just slow, Leviane. You snooze, you lose. It's always been how we've done things.
Then I'll take off the top of his foot.
Ah! Ah! Me too, me too!
Fine, I don't care. I'll take his shoulder. Your sisters, right? Be nice to each other. Trying desperately to say something badass while he gets torn to shreds.
How can you withstand that? Why haven't you realized that your false courage actually makes us more excited?
I think he does. Too bad. False courage and being stubborn are my specialty. No matter how you all try to speak in riddles, I definitely won't accept witches and magic.
Even though you can't explain anything with human tricks? Are you a moron?
Know your place.
It's alright, we don't have to force him to accept it. Any moment now he'll break down crying with the desire to accept it. Even now, he really wants to kneel down on the ground pitifully and beg for our forgiveness.
He's broken already! Beatrice-sama!
Oh, dear me. Since they know that I can revive him over and over, my pieces of furniture don't even hesitate to break him. How troublesome.
Endless rebirths give me free reign over endless deaths, too. Before the endless witch Beatrice, all death in life has no meaning. Even death can't serve as the key to escape from my cage.
So, Battler, remember your original form once more. I'll toy with you over and over again. I see. It truly is pleasant to have a toy to play with for all eternity. I see. Could this be the endless bliss witches gain at the endless level? I see. This certainly is a pleasant bliss. I'll revive you over and over, kill you over and over. Now then, what kind of a murder spree shall I unleash on the next game board? Come, bring the new game board. Why don't we begin the next game? Ushiromiya. Batora!
I bought this vape today, but this shit came fucking like clogged. I probably should have like called them and been like, yo, this shit clogged. Give me another one. Yada yada. Aniki's hatred of cigarettes is a real pain in the neck. Sorry. She's been grumpy since last night. Think you could let it slide? Rudolph and Hideyoshi went out onto the deck and took out some cigarettes. Ava had always hated the smell of cigarettes, but when she was in a bad mood, she got even more oversensitive. The two of them had attempted to spend some relaxed time smoking until they made it to the island. They had gotten yelled at and chased out onto the deck. Hideyoshi tried to use his lighter, but it didn't go well with all the strong winds on the deck. Yeah, you're not gonna fucking light a cigarette on a goddamn boat deck. Rudolph took out a Zippo with a stylish gesture. Okay, I guess a Zippo will work, and let Hideyoshi borrow the flame. When did you start smoking, Hideyoshi-Nisan? You all know what a Zippo is, right? You know, the little latch lighters? And they use oil and wick. They have like a little internal. It still would be really hard to. It's not like so much easier to light a Zippo that the wind wouldn't be a problem. But with Zippos, my cousin used to do a thing where he would just like whip it against his jeans real quick, and in one swipe it opens it, and the other like lights it. So he just go like whoosh, and it would come out lit. Anyway. Just after the war, in the beginning, I was rolling them. Then I started using what I was selling. Is he talking about joints? Is he talking about blunts? Is he talking about America's most blunted? So, you were already smoking when you met Aniki? I'll bet she's always telling you to stop. I never listened to her, so she's already completely given up on that. That's honestly probably what she likes about him. Like, if there's something that she could not bully someone out of doing, she's just like, well, I guess I have to marry you. Because there's one irascible cunt of a woman. Looks like men have gotta be stubborn. Hideyoshi laughed heartily, but Rudolph chuckled. After being scolded by Ava and told to smoke outside, they dejectedly fled to the deck together. There was almost no doubt he was under her thumb. Yeah, I mean, again, she's evil. It's not like... She isn't usually so short-tempered. I don't fucking believe you. Nah, she's usually a more gentle, quiet woman. Every year she changes when this day comes. She's like, I gotta get into bitch mode. I'm going to the island. I gotta be the worst. Let me get into my worst self real quick. Is that so? To me, she looks just like the Aniki we've all known for so long. That's right. She goes back to being Ava of the Ushiromiya family. But that's different from the Ava who's with me. I mean, I kind of get it. I don't know where I'd have to be like, I'm gonna jump into like the worst version of me that I can, you know? Like, I don't know. I guess I've been that way at Dick Show events. Like, I go into the room, like, with the but, like, I also don't, the worst version of me is not that bad, you know? So it's like, me trying to be as cunty as I can is still kind of trying to be nice. You know, it's just, like, a little bit more reckless abandon than normal. So I do understand the feeling of, like, I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna just be, like, a shit, because that's the tone. But, like, she's way too much of a shit for her to be otherwise a quiet, demure lady. Well, I can understand why she's grumpy. This family conference is going to be a pain. Sure is. That plan to threaten money out of Kraus Nissan, it's a family conference only in name. Really, it's just a fight between siblings. I'm honestly, like so glad these guys are back. They didn't get to do shit last chapter. They died like 10 minutes in. Neither one of them fucking said a word. It's nice to have the good old boys on deck with their cigarettes and their would-be misogyny, if not for the fact that they've got like this these two men in particular happen to deal with like the matriarchal force of the woman we were just fucking talking about. With the family conference ahead of them, the three siblings, excluding Kraus, had made a secret contract. Ava. Each of them had a pressing situation to deal with and urgently needed a lot of money. And the only one who could help them was Kraus, who spoke for the Ushiromi ahead, since Kinzo was shut up in his study. They had long felt that Kraus had started taking advantage of Kinzo's loss of interest in his own wealth, and was embezzling that wealth for his own use. When everything had been going well for the siblings, even though they had found it detestable, they had pretended not to notice. But now that they needed money, they couldn't just quietly accept that. Ava had called Rudolph and Rosa into an alliance, and they were planning to exploit that knowledge in order to draw money out of Kraus. Rudolph-kun, both you and I are company presidents. We are responsible for the livelihood of our employees. Rosa is a president too. Well, as a hobby. Rosa is a I forgot this. If this was mentioned before, what the fuck is what is Rosa's company? They must be tanked, right? Like, there's just no way she's doing anything with her company. What the fuck is Rosa's company? How does Rosa run a company? I can't picture it. That's right, sorry. Rosa is a fashion designer? If she designed Maria's clothes, then I guess I can accept that her... I can't... Is she supposed to be good at it? They are all failing, but like... She tanked because she took a loan for her ex-boyfriend. I'm just wondering if she is like... Like, does she herself do design, or does she just own a design studio? In short, all of us are bearing some burden. Now that I've thrown the gauntlet down in front of the executive board, I gotta bring in the money, even if it means I have to grovel or even drink mud. Same here. I can't betray my employees who've trusted me and followed me for so long. That's why I gotta get some money out of Kraus Nissan, even if I have to grab him by the neck. Yeah, fucking... Aniki has always been at odds with Aniki, and now she has to have a full-on confrontation with him. That's probably enough to make her grumpy. So Ava has always been on bad terms with Kraus Nissan then. That guy is just a fucking dirtbag, man. She doesn't talk to you about it? Definitely, yeah, in a really big way. She won't tell me about the past, even if I ask. She probably doesn't want to remember. Yeah. I relate. Aniki has always been smart and shrewd. Her grades were good too. Compared to that, Aniki was just average. Her just being there beside him should have been enough pressure, but Aniki kept boasting about it and driving Aniki into a corner. Silly girl. Why be openly hostile like that and drive him into a corner? That's not being shrewd. Seriously. Aniki regretted being born a woman. Aw. She probably couldn't forgive Aniki for getting to succeed the head just because he was a man. So she'd always take every opportunity to boast to Dad that she was superior. Father really is an old-fashioned person. His values discriminate between men and women. You think that Father disliked Ava a bit since she likes to make herself conspicuous? Yeah. She should have just cut. The smartest thing for her to have done would have been to cut ties with her family and just go. If she's so much better at business than everybody else, she should have fucking stolen their money and run. Don't you think that schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? Oh, this is Kraus. Without it, it is bland, but too much of it ruins the tea. Since you can still drink black tea without sugar, it was exactly the same as saying that study was unnecessary for a woman. Fuchsia with Australian $5 says, I recently watched Ready or Not, and it's like a simple version of Umineko I recommend. Huh, I have not heard of that. Interesting. Those infuriating words were ones that my older brother had abused me with when I had been in despair, wanting to go to college but denied by father. I had protested that advancing to college was essential if I was to acquire the education and class befitting the eldest daughter of the Ushiromiya family. But the replies I received from father and my brother were, in summary, exactly the same. How conceited for a woman. Since the time I was born into the Ushiromiya family, I hadn't taken that name lightly even once. And furthermore, nor had I ever taken lightly father's name, Ushiromiya Kinzo. It was an old family with a long history, but it had lost all its wealth and its business in the Great Kanto earthquake. It almost sank for a time. Then father, with his ingenious talent, had taken control and revived it to be even greater than it had been before. I hadn't forgotten even once what it meant to be the daughter of that great Ushiromiya Kinzo. Therefore, I had always made every effort to become worthy of that name. Class worthy of the Ushiromiya family, schooling, manners, and leadership. Even if I was far from reaching father's level, I deepened my knowledge in economics and finance and tried to improve myself so that I could help out with that at any time. However, in the end, there never came a time when father acknowledged that. To father, a woman was only meant to support a man, and nothing further than that was permissible. I wonder when it was that I understood that. I probably understood ever since I was a young girl. But to truly accept it, I had to wait until I had grown up. Compared to my own effort, you couldn't have said that Kraus, as my older brother by 2 years, tried at all to become deserving of the Ushiromiya family name. Ever since we were young, my brother kept saying that it was natural that he'd succeed father just because he was born a man. He kept repeating that as though it were an absolute gap between us. I couldn't stand it. Even though I always got better grades than my brother, even though I became class president while he was stuck as vice president of his class, even so, my brother was considered to be the appropriate person to succeed the Ushiromiya family just because he was a man. Of course, you could get away with gender discrimination in those days. No, it was even considered a virtue in those days. There was a time when women were looked down upon, and it was said that when a woman is born, she is to obey her parents. When she gets married, she is to obey her husband. And when she gets old, she is to obey her children. But because that way of thinking existed, I wanted to overturn it. Man, that's something you don't hear in the United States at all. Parents obey their children? That is not the culture here. Some of them do. Their kids usually kind of turn out like shit, though. Innocently, I kept trying to prove that I was the most fit. However, eventually I realized that all of my efforts were doomed from the beginning. Don't you think that schooling for women is like sugar in black tea? Without it is bland, but too much of it ruins the tea.
What do you mean by that, Nissan?
In the same way that there are things that only men can do, there are also things that only women can do, are there not? God damn, she looks hot in that fucking shot. I think things like giving birth to children, raising them, and supporting their husband can only be done by women.
Are you trying to say that there's no need for a woman to do things like work and study?
I wouldn't go that far. Unschooled women are tiring just to talk to. However, women who are too smart are even more tiring. You're tiring, Kraus. Shut the fuck up. I think that a woman like you, who vehemently asserts herself, would cause her future husband a lot of trouble.
Are you trying to say that a woman must marry and stay in the shadow of their husband? That's none of your business.
I admire you as my little sister for feeling that you should respect father and become a proper daughter for him. Even I can respect that.
Disgusting. What is this watashi? You've always used ore. Are you already pretending to be the head?
It was decided that watashi would succeed the head from the beginning, and yet you seem to be laboring under the illusion that you can become the head, and have just been making useless and reckless attempts to do that.
Reckless attempts, you say? Is my saying that I want to go to college really that odd?
Yes, it's odd. Indeed, you are the eldest daughter of the glorious Ushiromiya family. Eventually, you will bear the responsibility of that family crest and be wed to the partner who is most valuable for father. However, what will be demanded of you then is not an excess of knowledge. It is gentle feelings to care for your husband and ability in housework, and it is a humble demeanor that will support the master of your household. It's interesting that she looks kind of like Rosa but with huge tits when she's younger. You are completely lacking in all of those things. In the end, is that really proper for a daughter of the Ushiromiya family?
I have no intention of being a secluded daughter. I just want to become the best person who can help father with his work.
In which case, should you not be aiming to become worthy as a daughter of the Ushiromiya family? What is it with you? Even at this age, you still act like a man, you are careless with housework and cooking, and you never really wear any makeup to please men. Women don't wear makeup to please men. Men don't care about makeup. This man's gay. Recently, I've heard that you've even been training to learn how to brawl.
That's rude. It isn't brawling. The martial arts are the perfect training for the mind. And at the proper time, I can act like a woman well enough. What are you trying to say? That women should be slaves who work for men? That women must not step out in front? Is that what you're trying to say?
It isn't elegant to admit that, but in order to correct your mistake, I think that a few unpleasant words are necessary. Oh, God. So, let me say it plainly. Women exist to serve men, and men exist to cultivate women. Cultivate. A woman's job is to protect a man's back, to protect their house, and raise their children. Normally, they don't have to be told that to realize it. Oh, really? They realize it by themselves. But no matter how old you get, you haven't realized that about yourself. So as your brother, I will clear away that misunderstanding for you before you exit this house into society. Jesus Christ, you should thank me.
That is an insult to all women. No, wait, I have never thought of myself as a woman. I've never depended on anyone because I'm a woman. How am I inferior to you, Nissan? In grades and accomplishments? Anything you can do, I can do better. How can you look down on me when you don't have anything I don't except being a man?
It's about whether or not you know your place. Every day I have been raised so that I would be prepared to be the next head. In the future, that will definitely be essential. But you are different. Even though you will marry and lose the Ushiromiya family name, you keep seeing this illusion that you don't need to see. What are you so unsatisfied about? Even if you were born as a man, it still wouldn't be you who would succeed the head. What's so unsatisfying that you keep attacking me?
What's so unsatisfying, you say? Nissan, you are always, 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 always! You claim yourself as the successor, look down on me? And despite that...
Despite that... Oh, I'm out of coffee. What's so unsatisfying, he says? A billion grudges, hard feelings, humiliations that I'll never forget crossed through the back of my mind. And all of them built up at the same time, coming out of my throat as nothing more than a shameful moan.
What is all this noise? God isn't the only one who values silence. Father.
Father!
Our sibling fight was probably overheard. Father entered with a clearly displeased face.
Kraus, are you fighting with your siblings again? Why do you not have the dignity to lead your siblings? How shameful! You are a joke of an eldest son.
In a flash, he struck Kraus's face. A flash. I prepared myself to be struck in the same way, but I wasn't hit.
My apologies, Father. Dignity isn't the only thing that you lack. There's much more. You're immature in everything. And even so, you pretend like you're an adult. Realize that it's 100 years too early for you to talk like that and devote yourself to your studies. Don't make me lament my son's incompetence anymore.
Yes, I will continue to strive so that I can become a person worthy to succeed your father. It was as if those words were directed at me. Even when he was being yelled at by Father, he was still bragging to me about how he was special, about how he was the successor. He just couldn't stand it and finally spoke what was on my mind. Uh-oh. Even though I realized that this was improper, you were about to dodge a bullet, and you just went for it. You threw yourself in front of the gun. It was improper for a person of the Ushiromiya family.
Father, please tell me, how am I inferior? Until today, I've tried so hard, studied so hard to become a person who would not shame your name. Please tell me, in what way am I inferior? How can I improve myself so that you will accept me?
Are you still talking about that? How many times do I have to tell you? I have no expectations for you whatsoever. A woman should just learn cooking and sewing like a woman. You have none of the necessary attitudes of a woman. I can't sense any of the disposition needed to serve a husband, the heart to devote yourself to a man. What good are you as a woman? Do you realize that you are a daughter of the Ushiromiya family? And yet the only thing you want to learn is how to act like a man. Your duty is not to act like Kraus. Do you even understand your own duty?
As a person of the Ushiromiya family, I won't embarrass your name.
That's it! Right there, you're already wrong! Your duty is to marry out of the family and to bring a man who is profitable to me. And then devote yourself to your husband, be fruitful, and multiply! Be a good wife who brings praise to your husband's family. What can you do that is capable of pleasing a man? Do you think you can make tea? Do you have any talent in cooking? You have nothing! All you have done is to try to act like Kraus. Kraus will succeed the Ushiromiya family. If you are unsatisfied with that, then you are disobeying me. Are you saying that you won't even listen to what I say, even though you're my daughter? Get out! You're disinherited! I won't let you use the name Ushiromiya!
This would have been the best thing he could. She shouldn't. This is your excuse to leave. He's giving you an excuse to leave. Fuck off. Never talk to him again.
Disinherited! Disinherited!
Father, stay strong. Please calm down. Genji-san, could you bring some water? Yes. Immediately. Eva, leave this place. He doesn't mean what he says. I will calm him down. He means every word of what he says. You just said all that shit yourself. You learned it from him.
Disinherited! If you won't listen to me, you're disinherited!
I think Kraus is just scared of the concept of disinheritance getting thrown around. As Father struggled with a fit of heavy coughs, my brother patted his back, as if that were naturally his duty. It was so vexing for me then to let him monopolize that duty. Yeah, let me pat his fucking back. If I approached Father carelessly, I would probably be hit again. However, I fearlessly tried to approach Father's back. Genji blocked me. Eva-sama, it would probably be better if you stepped outside for now, and for the rest of your life. The Master is not in a good mood today.
But...
Why are my children so incompetent? Kraus is lacking in dignity. Ava never moves on from being a stubborn tomboy. I have no manly son, not even a womanly daughter. Where did I go wrong raising them?
Buddy, your whole family is fucking trans. You got the gay gene. I'm sorry. You're fucked. They're fucked. You're all fucked. It's time to Zishin, did you give this album a listen? Did you love it? Hate it? Tell me, what should I rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Just hit the bell as well and leave a comment if you're feeling depressed.
Why, Genji? When and where? How did I go wrong?
My lord, you have done nothing wrong. Kraus-sama has grown into a sturdy son, and Eva-sama into a lovely daughter. Now you're just lying to him. You haven't made any mistakes.
In what way?
In what way is she lovely? Are you... He must be blind, right? He must not have noticed that she has the largest tits in the world.
Far from a lady, she's always acting like a man.
Yeah, someone who acts like a man and has huge tits is all that most men want. She's perfect. There's nothing, nothing. She's perfect. You could ship her anywhere in the world, and she's a 10 out of 10.
Disinherited, disinherited!
Father, I was just warning Eva about that very thing. Eva, too, promised that she would have a change of heart and began acting like a lady. Couldn't you postpone that for just a little longer?
Lady, my foot!
Disinherited, disinherited. Go quickly and I'll handle this for you. Kraus gave me a look telling me that. He really doesn't want disinherited to start being a word that Dad starts throwing around. He's like, not that I like you, Ava, I just really don't want this to be the standard that starts getting set. You don't fuck this up for all of us. Did I take the wrong path, just like Father and my brother had said? They were right that I had never studied how to be a lady. I mean, I regret it. Everything I had learned was because I'd hoped that I could help Father someday. Wait, was that really the case? Hadn't I always held a growing sense of rivalry with my brother, with whom I had a bad relationship since I was a young girl, and wasn't I just trying to get the better of him by stealing his position as successor to the head? Every time my brother told me that men should be manly and women should be womanly, I had been tormented by this unreasonable discrimination because of my sex, something I was born with and couldn't do anything about. I had resisted, had endeavored to study until today so that I could prove that I wasn't inferior, even though I was a woman. In that case, wasn't the basis of my love of learning just a boring inferiority complex toward my brother? No, come on. Father had expected me to be a lady with whom he could go out in public and not be embarrassed. Had I betrayed that expectation and earned grades to intimidate my brother just to clear away that pent-up resentment from my childhood? Maybe, but it took skill. Oh my god. Who is this absolute cute? Is this...
That's not it. You vowed to me that I would become the successor to the Ushiromiya family.
Is this younger her? Oh my god, this is adorable.
You.
The one who came whispering to me was myself, born in my heart on the day that I made that vow. Myself on that day, as a little girl. Holy shit. That's right. She was my only ally. Whenever I was suffering, whenever I felt like I could take no more, she would always quietly appear and take my side. Whenever I found myself with my head in my hands, stumbling over difficult problems, she would always appear and support me. As I had grown and forgotten my time as a girl, I'd also begun to forget my conversations with her.
I, Ushiromiya Eva, will definitely become the head of the Ushiromiya family, and I'll triumph over that irritating, arrogant Kraus. On that day, we promised to do our best together to achieve that. That's right, we promised. On that day that I would become the successor to the head.
On that day when I had become overcome with sadness, wondering why I was even alive, you appeared inside me and lent me your strength.
I wanted Father to accept me. I wanted to get the better of my brother. I believed that if I could do that, I could forever part ways with that wretched part of myself.
In those days, I had really believed that I had no other purpose in life than to be looked down upon by my brother. It's painful just remembering those days. The wound, the tear that split open my heart. She taught me how to sew up that wound. I think Ava might be my favorite character now. Now that I know she's like doing it for young her. You know how I feel about how real ones stay babies for life. And maybe this isn't a baby, but still, it's the principle is shared. I would change my anger into effort and improve myself, become a person more worthy to be head than Kraus was, and triumph over him by making father accept me, the perfect revenge. I knew more or less that a woman couldn't succeed the head, but if I could become so superior that I could overturn that, be undeniable, I don't remember who told me to do that, but that's what you gotta do. Is it Tyler the Creator? Anyway, then surely even father would select me to be his successor. If that happened, then I could have the greatest, ultimate, most perfect revenge against my brother, who always acted like it was completely natural for him to succeed the head.
Right. If we do that, then the wounds in our heart will be healed. We promised each other that we would do our best until that day came. And yet you're breaking this promise? Scum! Coward!
Why not give up and die forever? Okay, her younger self is kind of a bitch, but I love her. Even though she has the form of my young self, she is still another me. And she has a sharp tongue. After all, she's me. Yeah, she's easily the most relatable in the game now. It really makes me mad hearing that from myself. You have no right to speak of me like that. This is exactly what my internal conversations are like.
Then let's use that anger and learn from it. Changing anger into power is my magic. I've saved you from several predicaments with that power and allowed you to achieve things that should have been impossible for you. As long as you have my magic, there's nothing you can't do.
That's right. Anger has always been my driving force. I'm telling you, I feel this so hard. Why did she just go from 0 to 100 on the relatability scale in like one scene?
I wonder when it was that I forgot that. If you have remembered me again, that magic is ours once more. Come on, let's turn that anger into power and endeavor in our studies even more, alright? I'm sure that we still have a lot more studying that we need to do. Let's go to college, study more.
Okay. Pump the brakes on the college. I'll find a... My college is the planet Earth.
Study more and more, get excellent grades, and drive Kraus into a corner. That guy makes a face as though we're nothing, but I'm sure he feels pretty well cornered in his heart. If only he would just learn his place and die.
That's exactly how I feel about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. If only he would just learn his place and die.
If he did, we could become the head.
Exactly, I could be president.
Rudolph will be nice enough to decline. That kid can't go against us. Stop that. Even if I study more, Father still won't accept me. Why? Father is telling me to be womanly. No matter how hard I try, as long as I'm a woman, Father will never pass on the headship to me, even if I'd been born before Nissan. No matter how much effort I put in, I can't become anything more than a woman. I won't be accepted. I can't surpass Nissan, who doesn't try at all. I will always be looked down upon. Father and Kraus are the worst kind of male supremacists.
Yes. I wish they'd just fucking die already. Yes! She would curse in my place. Words that I couldn't say carelessly, she would say for me. Even though I understood that she was just another part of myself inside of me, I felt like she was the only ally I had who would sympathize with me. However, while sympathy might calm my heart somewhat, it wouldn't do anything to improve my current situation. In the end, she could only console me when I was dejected by reality, and for the amount of time I needed to accept it.
Thank you. That's enough now. Now that it's come to this, I'll become such a good lady that I'll surpass Father. I'll find an excellent man that Nissan can't even be compared with. No, that's no good.
She rejected my timid thoughts. I know why. Because she is me. I know why.
Father says, or at least right now he says, that he won't let a woman succeed the head. But that's never been anything more than a rule that Father decided on. Since Father decided on it, he can abolish it. People's feelings can change many more times than there are... People's feelings can change many more times than there are grains of sand on a beach. Many more times than there are grains of sand on a beach.
That's the most BPD sentence I've ever heard in my fucking life. People's feelings can change many more times than there are grains of sand on a beach.
Even if we don't prove that Kraus is a stupid man, Father will eventually realize it. In that time, the ridiculousness...
Well, I think your father has realized it.
At that time, the ridiculous wall that separates man from woman will be demolished by Father, who set it up in the first place. That day will surely come.
I do think that the wall between man and woman will be demolished by Father, who set it up in the first place, by the end of this game.
How can you say surely? Because that is my magic. If you'll just believe, this magic will surely create a miracle. The basis of my magic is nothing more than your believing heart.
If I can use that magic, then surely until the day I die, I'll never have to doubt that someday I will become the head. But I don't know if that is the right thing for Ushiromiya Eva. Shouldn't I aim to become the kind of lady that Father hoped for, someone he could take into society and boast about? No, fuck that. Father might take a better view of me if I were reborn. Find another guy to impress. Maybe my brother could find his own lifestyle, and I could find mine. Besides, no matter what, I just can't imagine that my father, stubborn as he is, would not allow a woman to succeed the head, but also skip my older brother and select me for the headship.
You don't believe? I was just thinking... Maybe I can...
It's interesting that she thinks apart from communicating with her younger self.
Maybe I can't succeed the head, but as a woman I can have a child, and Nissan still isn't engaged.
I'll just have a kid that could be the head.
If Nissan doesn't manage to have children and I do, then wouldn't the next head after Nissan be my child? Wouldn't that basically mean the same thing as stealing the headship from Nissan? Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I'll just systematically raise my son with the pure expectation that this is the only thing he possibly would do with his future. How could that go wrong?
It will indeed be quite sad to throw away the determination from my years as a young girl. It will pain my heart to betray you, my younger self.
I'll just have a kid to use as a pawn in my machinations against my father. What could go wrong?
But this way is the most realistic.
In that moment, my body changed, and I was no longer myself from back then, but as I am now, a wife and mother. Yes, this is a dream. Even so, she still possessed the same ambition and desire as always, and she argued back with her expression displaying clear displeasure at this change.
Are you throwing away your dreams and cursing some child? And are you even throwing me away? I'm not throwing anything away. It's just that I've become an adult and the time has come for us to go our separate ways. That's right. You've already become an adult. You've even forgotten how to use magic. You are now the mother of a child. You've forgotten the magic that can grant your own dreams and are now pushing those dreams onto your son.
Finally, she said it.
Even though you had your own life messed with so much by Father and Kraus, you're trying to push your dreams onto your son and mess with his life too. Is that what being an adult is all about?
George is my pride and joy. Wait, are we jumped ahead? When did we time leap here? George is my pride and joy, who won't embarrass me no matter where he goes. Or had she already had a kid by this point, and now she's just now like, wait. The dream that wasn't granted me might be granted to George. Jessica's grades and behavior aren't good at all. Okay, there was definitely a time leap. And she's a woman. If only Jessica would step down, George could become the heir. My heart pained even as I said it. Yeah, if only that dumb bitch would not try to be the ruler of the family when she's a woman. Aren't I just forcing my own regrets onto George? I don't have any right to disparage Jessica, and to hit her with the same words that have caused me so much suffering is just horrible. I understand. Wanting to triumph over my brother was nothing more than my personal revenge. I mustn't use George for that. But I already did. So I'll take revenge myself. I have a plan to cheat Nissan out of some of his money with Rudolph and Rosa as my allies. I'll surely be able to get back at him. I mean, there's no doubt that Nissan is embezzling Father's assets. What a boring plan. Why don't you just give that up and cry yourself to sleep forever? Me when I have to think about the future.
We will become the head of the Ushiromiya family. Don't try to confuse that dream. So believe me that you can definitely achieve it. Believe in my magic. If I believe, will the magic have power, I wonder? Yes! My magic can grant any wish without fail. I'll believe. I'll believe, so create a miracle with that magic. If you don't, the hole in my heart will never heal. Yes. Then listen well to my magic words and understand them. If we can solve the riddle, we can become the Ushiromiya family head. So lend me your ears and listen carefully.
Behold the sweet fish river, running through my beloved home of old. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. Behold the sweet fish river, running through my home of old.
Eva-san, it looks like we're about to arrive.
As her shoulder was tapped by Kyrie, Ava jumped and awoke from her doze.
I'm sorry. I was half asleep. Sorry for surprising you.
Auntie Ava, you were out cold. Did you get up early this morning?
I suppose. How embarrassing. I must have looked quite disgraceful. I'm sorry. Pretty impressed that you're relaxed enough to sleep, though. Not like Battler. He's been yelling the whole time about how he's gonna fall and drown. Can't get bored with this dude around.
Shut up. Everyone has one or two things they don't like. Battler and Jessica went back out, squabbling merrily. Rudolph also made a face as if asking, "Are you all right?" Get a hold of yourself. When you see the faces of Dad and the rest, all that sleepiness will go right out the window. Let's do our best to stay firm, all right?
That's right. We have to stay firm, especially this year.
That's it. She keeps me firm. Let's tense up our assholes and do this thing. She can tense up my asshole. Rudolph said these strict words in a small voice that only Ava could hear. Failure would not be tolerated in this year's family conference. All of their companies were hanging in the balance. Even Rudolph's face looked a little tense. Ava's expression probably looked tense as well. Mother, I have our luggage. Let's go up on the up onto the deck.
Well, thank you. You really are thoughtful, George.
Why are you thanking me so suddenly? It's not like you, Mother. You're usually a bitch. Ava, George, we've arrived. Gather our luggage.
Hey, Maria. You'll fall, so stop running.
Seeing Maria was already getting excited. She ran circles around Hideyoshi, escaping from Rosa, who was trying to catch her.
Beloved.
Trying to fucking remember it. What is it, Mother? Do you feel sick? Sick of your bullshit. George, take the luggage and go on ahead. Your mother's probably anemic, so I'll lend her a hand. Really? I didn't know she had that issue. I understand. I'll go on ahead. By looking at Ava's peculiar expression, Hideyoshi realized that it had not been a pleasant awakening, and made George go on ahead. Rudolph's family and Rosa's family also went up to the deck, leaving only Ava and Hideyoshi inside the boat. Ava had a vague expression on her face, as though she still hadn't been able to escape from her daydream. What's wrong? Why the meek face?
I wonder if I've been using George as a tool for my own revenge.
I have to go to the bathroom. Oh yeah. You know, Amy, I don't consider Umineko necessarily like a very horny game. Like it has, I mean, obviously Battler's horny, and it has like some hot characters, but they're not really doing anything hot ever. I mean, the closest thing is like the Vor. It has Eros. It does have Eros, I suppose. Character designs mostly. Like, I guess I if you mean like, is it possible to have a play session and have zero horny thoughts? Probably not. But would I say that it's like a generally like, oh, I'm fucking riled up playing Umineko? Like, not really. If anything, there's lots of moments that are like, oh no, that kind of killed the buzz. I'm just gonna leave that on screen for a second. You can't really fill a chat with transgenders and not expect it to get pretty horny. So I understand. Shall we continue? Battler needs therapy, or at least to make friends with some peers. I would say so. I think that's pretty much everybody in this game. They all need less business and more talking in their lives. Transgenders? No, witches. Yeah, exactly. Who can tell the difference? We are witches.
I wonder if my childish hostility towards Nissan has caused me to treat that boy's life like a toy.
It has.
What have I done? What have I...
That isn't true. He likes it. George is our wonderful son, and he'll always perform admirable wherever he goes. Even if your own ends got a little mixed in, everything's turned out all right in the end, hasn't it? You haven't done anything wrong.
Ava did literally nothing wrong.
To the contrary, George is thankful for her.
I don't think she has done anything terribly wrong so far, right? Like, she's just kind of a bitch. Like, has she done anything... I mean, she's mean. She's definitely... I guess bullying Rosa all growing up was kind of fucked up. But did she ever do anything in any of the timelines so far? Hello, Mel. Oh, and Midmod. I don't think I said hello to you either. I think I said hello to everybody else. Ideas, Aggie Dine, Amy, Ellen, and Gary. And I think Lapouche is still here. And Dean. Anyway. Did she do anything bad? Can anyone remember? Has Ava done anything particularly wrong other than be a total bitch so far? Compared to other people, like Rosa who beats her children, or like, you know, the many perverts and murderers of this game.
Really? Hey, really? I wonder, doesn't George think I'm a horrible mother?
No, he seems fine.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he?
He's never said anything like that, not even once. That's just your needless anxiety.
George seems easily the best adjusted out of anybody in this game, like, in terms of his emotional well-being. Hideyoshi-sama, everyone has left the boat, you know. Oh, did you drop something? Shall I help you? I love when she gives that sharp look. Kumasawa had come to check on them when they hadn't come up to the deck. Hideyoshi hid Ava behind his back so that her expression couldn't be seen.
Yeah, sorry. My necktie pin just got a little crooked. We're all right, and we'll be out in a second. Wait outside for us.
Is that so? Oh, then I will wait outside. From that almost incomprehensible excuse, Kumasawa realized that something had come up and disappeared so that she didn't trouble them further. If they stayed here any longer, they would probably make everyone else worry too.
It's about time to go. We'll make George and the rest worry.
Am I really not despised by George? I'm sure he hates you for some reason if you really want to work through it.
Yeah, nothing of the sort. In fact, he's very grateful.
How do you know? Did you ask him?
Did you have a bad nightmare? Again?
Yes. Hideyoshi knew that it wasn't rare for Ava to be tormented by nightmares, and they would always become more striking on the days leading up to the family conference. Ava was a bully to Rosa and very aggressive to Natsu, but that's about it. Yeah. Like, being mean to Rosa growing up definitely seems like it was, like, you know, I understand why you'd be upset with yourself, you know, I mean, so far she hasn't really necessarily expressed regret about that in specific. She has expressed regret about bullying Jessica for basically being the same position as her. I understand why she wouldn't like Natsuhi based on the two of their competing positions, you know? Ultimately, Natsuhi enables Kraus and backs Kraus, and she fucking hates Kraus, so there's no reason to like Natsuhi, you know? But that's why she kind of regrets putting that on Natsuhi's daughter, because she's like, Jessica did nothing wrong, just like I did nothing wrong, you know? So, I think the fact that she's at this stage where she regrets leading George down this path, even though George is overall fine, regrets bullying Rosa, who is tremendously worse than her. So, if there had to have been more than just, it can't just be her fault, right? Like, she was not as bad to Rosa as Rosa is to her own child. So, as far as we know, unless Ava was just like really horrible when she was younger and just cleaned up a lot as she got older. I don't know why I'm running Ava defense so hard right now. I just decided that she's best girl after I found out that she talks to her younger self as like a split personality. So so now I'm running hard Ava defense here. They would always become more striking on the days leading up to the family conference. Hideyoshi knew that Ava's relationship with Kraus was still so full of antagonism that it could even be called trauma. Yeah. And that she still couldn't separate herself from how she'd felt as a child.
That was a dream. I'm with you now. If I grasp your hand tightly like this, that dream will go flying away. Right? Look. Squeeze.
That hurts. Thank you.
They're fucking adorable.
I'm fine now. Let's get off the boat.
Yeah, let's get off the boat. Everyone's waiting for us.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I yelled at you about the smoke from your cigarettes just now.
Come on, you normally wouldn't apologize for that sort of thing.
Let a bitch be good.
You go all frail after you've had a bad dream. Don't worry about it. I was wrong for not realizing that the smoke was affecting you.
Have you started to hate me?
No way, no way. If I hated you after something like that, we wouldn't have lasted 3 days. Come on, stand up, stand up. Off we go, off we go.
All things considered, I've dealt with people with this personality disorder who are nowhere near as easy to deal with as she is. This could have been a fucking disaster. Like, her reaction to that dream could have been a fucking total disaster for everybody. She was guided through that pretty easily, pretty contently, you know. Hideyoshi-sama, Eva-sama, is everything alright? Are you not feeling well? This time, Goda had come. It looked like they had kept everyone waiting too long after all. Eva also stood up without grumbling this time. She couldn't keep on forcing her bad mood onto her husband and causing him more trouble, because that was not something a good wife would do. Is everything alright? If you are worried about your health, shall I call Dr. Nanjo?
Thanks. I'm just a little anemic. I'm alright now.
Just her hormones. Don't worry about it, of course. What's the Dochi lyric? They ask me good. They ask me if I'm good. I say I'm PMSing.
For goodness sake, don't say stuff like that in front of people. It's embarrassing.
Oh, sorry. Eva elbowed Hideyoshi in the gut. By that time, her normal expression had returned, which allowed Hideyoshi to relax a little. The bright sunlight outside was almost enough to really make a person go giddy. A small plank was lowered to get off the boat, and Goda was waiting there, smiling and ready to lend them a hand. Please, Eva-sama, your hand. If we're being real about it, this is my take right now. Eva is high-key the one keeping everything together, right? Because y'all are saying Hideyoshi's easily the best person in this family. Well, the only reason he's in this family is that she brought him in. She found a cool guy. She had better taste in men. She found a man who is antithetical to everything that she hates about her own family. He's not a chauvinist. For the most, he's trying to be a man because he's a man in society, but he clearly admires his wife and thinks that she's like stronger and more intelligent than him because she's just tremendously strong and intelligent. The only reason she's not the outright matriarch of the family is that her dad is a psychopath who probably thinks that the only way she can actually overtake him is by literally overtaking him. Like, if I supported her in any way, shape, or form, she wouldn't become as powerful as she needs to be to overtake me, so I'm just never going to be nice to her. I'm sure that's his mentality. But she's, decided to not continue that cycle of violence. She's like, actually, I already regret, even though I've been totally nice to my son and he's not nearly as fucked up as I am, I still regret even putting him in this. I regret even having him be a part of this whole thing. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to raise him so well that he would do whatever I wanted, for the family. And then you have to also consider, would Kraus have ever even bothered having a kid, would Kraus and Nazi have had a relationship if Kraus wasn't trying to compete with his sister? Would Rudolph have a relationship if he wasn't trying to compete with his sister? Would Rosa do anything in her life whatsoever if she wasn't trying to compete with her sister? She's the only thing driving any of these people to greatness. They would all just be lazy fucking assholes. Rudolph and Rosa would just be sitting on money until it was gone. They all would have died. They all would have done a bunch of heroin and died by now. I'm being generous to the depths of Kinzo's soul. Not really. I don't think that's a correct way to be. I think Kinzo thinks he is a perfectionist. He thinks he's creating perfect people through what he's doing. Ava is just actually incidentally that good that she can live up to his unreasonable expectation, but eventually she's now reaching a point of like, oh, I don't want to be him. He sucks. Actually what he did to me, I don't want to do that to my son, So that's kind of what she's realizing now is like, oh, maybe I'm better than him. Maybe I don't need dad's approval because I'm better than dad, But she hasn't quite accepted it yet. So it's like it's an unfolding thing, you know. That seems to be where she's at. Is having the realization of like, you know, even though I've become very powerful trying to be like him, ultimately I don't want to be like him. And maybe I can start undoing this generational curse instead of continuing it, you know.
Thank you. Welcome to Rokenjima. Welcome back. Huh?
When she left the boat, it seemed to Ava as though she had heard the voice of her younger self saying welcome back. No, it hadn't seemed that way. Someone had said welcome back to her. After becoming a shameless adult, the voice of her young self was distant. She's literally been expressing shame all morning.
What am I living for? What can I do to release myself from this obsession?
Hideyoshi heard her talking to herself. He drew Ava close to him by her shoulder, and just by his firmness he communicated that there was no need to say anything more. Maybe it was because the typhoon was getting closer. The lively cries of the seagulls, which usually greeted them when they arrived, couldn't be heard at all. You mean the Umineko no Naku Koro ni couldn't be heard at all? Heard at all? Umineko no Naku Koro ni. They would have had children because they're a chauvinist, a womanizer, and desperate for love, respectively. True. I guess it's not like Rosa's done a good job raising Maria. She's not even trying to... Like, well, she is well, okay. She wants to appear that she is trying to raise her right. I don't know if she necessarily is actually trying to raise her right. I definitely think that Rudolph and Kraus wanted their kids to be like, you know, badasses the way that that George is, and that both of them just kind of heavily rejected that, you know, in their own ways. Like, they're both people who are capable of a lot, but just don't want that. They're not interested in this thing they've been saddled with, you know. It's not that they're incapable. They're just like, this is not my life, you know. Battler in particular really went outside and just was like, nah. 6 years of outside. 6 years ago, you say? I mean, 6 years, that's like the whole of elementary school, isn't it? It's pretty unfair to ask me to remember, don't you think? I agree. Especially since we were so young. We've grown a lot in these 6 years. Actually, if we hadn't been introduced, maybe we wouldn't have been able to remember you.
You think? I knew it was Battler right away. After he opened his mouth, I was even more sure. I met him for the first time. Don't know about 6 years ago. That's natural. You were only 3 after all.
When you say it like that, I'm the same. I only knew Maria when she was 3 years old, and since she's grown so big, yeah, no wonder I didn't recognize her. After lunch, we had all gone out to the beach to walk around, talk, and take it easy, enjoying ourselves. Our parents appeared somehow on edge and seemed to have things to catch up on, so we had decided to leave our seats. Just as you'd expect, since it had been 6 years, the conversation focused on me. Still, you've really gotten taller. I won't call myself short, but anyway, your height surprised me.
That's right. I remember well what Battler-sama was like 6 years ago, but I was surprised even so.
Totally. I could never have imagined this from how Battler looked 6 years back.
I'm surprised at how everyone remembers so much about 6 years ago. My memory's all hazy.
Not surprised. I mean, you seem to take a while even remembering us.
That hurts a bit, you know.
Come on, this was 6 years ago, right? It's ridiculous to ask me to remember.
So you can't remember things that happened 6 years ago very well? I can remember as clearly as if it was yesterday.
I have a feeling how well everyone remembers things that happened 6 years ago is going to be relevant in this arc. That's because your memory is good, Shannon. I bet you remember well what kind of things Battler-kun did and said 6 years ago, don't you?
Come to think of it, that's right. Shannon's memory is surprisingly good when it comes to certain things.
I'm crappy at remembering.
It's because your mom beats you.
Remember fun stuff well, but horrible at boring stuff. Woo!
We all laughed, saying that everyone was like that, lying to a little girl, because we know that her situation sucks.
Shannon, by the way, what was Battler like 6 years ago? Remember any interesting episodes? Let's see. I'm sure that he said something like this when he left. I'll be back. See you again. I'll come for you riding a white horse.
Ah! Don't! So embarrassing!
I bet he did. That's exactly what he was like. 6 years ago, he was always full of those stupid lines.
He still is. It really does sound like something Battler-kun would have said back then.
Embarrassing? He said that to me 10 minutes ago. Embarrassing.
Yeah. Horribly embarrassing. Maria, I'm sure that when you're in middle school, you'll want to say embarrassing things like that. When that happens, write it on the back of some leaflet first and read it 3 times before you decide to say it out loud. If you don't, you'll definitely regret it. Still, everyone has to pass through that painful period. No, just autistic people. That's right, that's how you know your place. Learn shame and become an adult. Yes, this is a memory I want to disappear. The bittersweet kind of thing that everyone does at adolescence as they transition to becoming adults. You see, I tend to let my mouth run wild without thinking too much, so I don't remember all the details of everything I say. But when the contents are recited back to me afterwards, it's always something extremely embarrassing. Yeah, I know something about that. In recent years, I have finally come to understand this weakness and have been working hard to refrain from such careless outbursts. But it seems I was just born with the habit of speaking without thinking, and there isn't a whole lot I can do about it.
Shannon, do you remember any other embarrassing things? Yes, well, I remember various other things, but since it looks like the person in question wants to forget them, I think I will refrain from saying any more.
To be blunt, there's something else I don't remember. Please don't remind me. Oh, there's nothing else I remember. I meant to say, please don't remind me.
Ooh! Shannon's bullying Butler? Ugh! Bad! Bullying is bad!
She isn't really bullying him. Let's just leave it at that, okay? But Shannon, you'll have to tell me about this, just say facts to me. It sounds pretty interesting.
Yes, certainly.
No, you can't, Shannon-chan! For a while, George Aniki teased me by pretending to ask Shannon-chan for more of my embarrassing misspeaks. That's not what she's going to be. He is definitely not going to be talking to her about that when they get alone. You're not going to come up. George Aniki was messing around, teamed up with Shannon-chan, but he seemed somehow, how to describe it, very candid and frank. He was always frank with his cousins, but he usually took on a reserved, gentlemanly attitude when he came in contact with the servants. When I thought about it, I got the feeling he was acting a little overly familiar, which seemed slightly weird. It also looks like his hand is right where her ass is. So, you know. Maria started scribbling in the sand with a stick, and George Aniki and Shannon-chan joined in, which left me and Jessica off to the side, so I asked her secretively, "Hey, Jessica, is George Aniki, going out with Shannon-chan?"
Ooh! What the? How did you notice? Battler, you've got more of an eye for people than I thought.
Huh? What? I was just kidding. They're actually going out?
Shh. Your voice is too loud. They're actually keeping it secret for now, apparently, alright? It'd be better if nobody heard about it, especially Auntie Ava.
I see. Love with a servant. Yeah, but since when? Oh, a lot can happen in 6 years. But still, Aniki really is talented, and Shannon-chan is kind and spirited, and her rack is fucking tremendous. I mean, you can see it from space. They might be a pretty good match. Actually, 6 years ago, I remember taking notice of her just a little bit, because back then she only had a little bit of boob. But now that she's got tremendous rack, see, that's how it is. She really fits well with George Aniki. Nothing I can do about that. Goodbye, my fleeting first love of 6 years ago. Which means that my collection of embarrassing lines that Shannon-chan just held back on probably has something to do with that. Arg, I can't take it. How long have they been going out?
That depends on what you call going out, but I'd say it's definitely been at least a year.
If you count the time before either of them confessed, it'd be several years, I guess.
Before I'd realized it, the two of them had separated themselves from the group and were walking down to the beach talking about something. They looked calm, and rather than a light relationship between two lovers, it looked like a more serious relationship, as though they were already engaged. 6 years. That's a long-ass time. What did these 6 years mean to me? I've just gotten taller. It was just a waste of time. 6 years I spent obstinately fighting with my dad.
What about you, Battler? Have you gotten a girlfriend?
I wonder. There's a lot of girls that I play with. Oh, you are fucking, that's disgusting. But I don't have that special one yet. I'm probably just a kid. I think it's more fun to be nosy with a large group of people than being alone with one person.
Oh, that's so you, Battler. Virgin. But take your relationships with your female friends seriously. Girls can be scary with their communities and their wrong impressions, okay?
They're gonna, if you fuck this up, if you let one girl think you're gay, she's gonna tell every girl in town you're gay, is what she's trying to say right now. There could be some secret feud going on over you, and someone might be crying or being hurt without you noticing it, you know? Is this foreshadowing? That's so weird. I think I got the same bit of advice from one of the girls in my class just last week. What's with that? Why can't we all have fun together? Did they all really want to find a special person that badly?
It's probably because you've never had a partner like that, Battler. Well, you'll probably run into a girl like that at some point. Just gotta wait it out.
What? It sounds almost like you've already found a partner like that. What about you? Have you gotten a boyfriend?
Huh? Me? No?
Come on, that reaction's so easy to understand. From the looks of it, there's some boy who you're thinking about, but you haven't been able to confess that to him, or something like that.
No, that's not, cram it, jackass. Who cares about me?
You're the one who brought up the subject. Why don't you have a go and get mad at me? Women are creatures who always want to ask questions, and yet they almost never answer them. What cruel creatures, seriously.
Well, okay, I did try to confess once. Well, I struck out pretty badly.
Did they say sorry?
No, it was really one-sided and they were just, like, taken aback, I guess. It was like they didn't even view me that way.
I can understand that. You talk just like a man. If you don't act a little more elegant, you won't be able to entice a man's heart, you know? The fucking boys in this game.
Is it really? Is the way I speak really that bad?
You do have kind of a tough voice, Jessica. I'm not gonna lie. Well, how you talk isn't everything, but if someone like you, who usually talks badly, suddenly started making an effort to talk nicely, that takes courage, and that might really get some guys' hearts thumping, maybe. Gap Moe.
Really? I see. Yeah.
Jessica had suddenly started speaking meekly and was faintly blushing. I see, even though her confession didn't go well, it looks like she hasn't given up. But yeah, I totally get that. After seeing how close George Aniki and Shannon-chan have gotten, it's no wonder she'd start wanting a boyfriend. 6 years. Those 6 years of puberty are pretty important, and they go by so fast. With the typhoon, not really. For me, it felt like a fucking eternity. I forgot about most of it, but it felt really long when it was happening. With the typhoon approaching, the clouds had grown steadily grayer, and yet even so, I had this really refreshing feeling. Maybe I'll start thinking more seriously about the opposite sex, more than just the size of their boobs. I doubt it. By the way, I know George Eineke is going out with the servant, Shannon-chan. Not you as well, right?
Eh? Ooh, why do you think that?
Come to think of it, that young kid Kanon-kun who greeted us in the Rose Garden, too young for you, by the way. You covered for him quite a bit, just considering he was bad at talking, didn't you?
No, that's not. You're too suspicious.
Then tell me just one thing. Right now, is the boy you're after somewhere within 1 kilometer?
Well, that's, I don't know.
Kanon-kun is the only boy on this island now who could possibly become her boyfriend because the rest of us are direct blood relatives. So judging by her reaction, I'm probably right on. I don't think of the Ushiromiya family as a noble family, but 2 people in love with servants. I'd never have dreamed that 2 pairs of Romeo and Juliet would be right next to me. Auntie Ava, 2 sets. Auntie Ava will probably become an obstacle to George Eineke and Shannon-chan's love. If Auntie Ava learns that the partner of her only son, the apple of her eye, is Shannon-chan, she'll probably scream at her with cries of wretched servant, homewrecker, and so forth. And a relationship between Jessica and Kanon-kun would probably be just as full of difficulties. Aunt Natsuhi also seemed the type to be strict about that kind of thing. After all, Jessica's husband would probably become the head of the Ushiromiya family in the future. If that person had once been a servant working for the family, well, no doubt things would be complicated. Never mind that they are, like, literally both, like, fucking chimeras that Kinzo created. Which technically means that they are still related. They're Kinzo's children. So technically, they are aunt and uncle of our main kids here. They are technically like siblings of the siblings. Is that confirmed that Kinzo made them? Yes. At the end of the last episode, we learned that all the furniture were created by. Did I not use the word homunculus last time? What did I... Oh, I said chimera. Yes, I meant homunculus. They're like a bunch of homunculi. Well, everyone finds their own way in love. Who cares, as long as you find someone you enjoy being with. Being with someone doesn't require any permission as long as the 2 people accept each other. If you worry about your parents or your family, then you lose. Don't forget that. You can't go out with someone with half-hearted feelings.
I can't believe you're saying something so philosophical sounding when you've never even been in love.
Don't treat love like a matter of profit and loss. It's about heart. That's all I want to say. How did he do the brackets? Did he do that with his hands or... Well then. See you again. Have a nice day. Oh, did he say it in English? Okay, I see.
George and Isan, Shannon, listen. This guy, he said another one of those lines.
I didn't say anything. Ah, don't make fun of me.
I heard. See you again.
That's so fucking adorable. It sounded like she was 10 feet away from the microphone.
See you again.
For a while, we forgot about the wind getting stronger and played around on the beach. This meeting with my cousins, who had grown so much over these last 6 years and were thoroughly enjoying their youth, felt truly refreshing. It was a little late now, but I realized that I should have buried the hatchet a lot sooner and returned to the Ushiromiya family. No. It sure is nice to spend time together as cousins every once in a while.
Ooh, I like it with all the cousins together. It's fun.
That's right. We're already old enough. It's not like we couldn't meet each other when our parents aren't around. You and Maria don't need to be around each other. It might not be a bad idea for just us cousins to meet up and play every once in a while. That's a good plan. Maybe we should set up something like that someday.
I agree. I'd like for us cousins to at least always be friendly with each other.
This is gonna happen somewhere in the future. They're gonna have this meetup somewhere. Hey, if you put the emphasis, I guess, in the Golden Land, if you put the emphasis there, doesn't that make it sound like our normal families don't get along well? George, Aniki, and Jessica laughed, but it felt just a little strained. Did I say too much? Judging by how our parents had made quiet expressions and tired faces every once in a while during the boat ride at the airport, maybe that was something I shouldn't have said. That's right. Just like Jessica said, let's always be friendly with each other.
Me too. Everyone friendly.
That's right. Yeah. We'll always be together. We'll always be friendly. In hell.
Man, we've been saying some pretty embarrassing stuff. I feel kinda awkward.
That's the feeling of knowing you are going to die.
But I think that is very important. It's very hard for people to always be friendly, let alone always be together, unless they wish for it.
That's right. You really can't take everyone being friendly for granted.
Oh!
This is true.
A witch I know said it! Happiness won't be granted unless everyone believes in it.
I just saw there was some drama with some YouTubers I follow, some hip-hop YouTubers that I did not see coming at all. One guy got kicked out of a Discord by another guy over some, basically vibe checked out of it, and he is crashing out about it right now. I did not see any of that coming. I really didn't. I was like, damn, y'all all seem to get along so well. But, you know, sometimes not everyone believes in it. That's true. Maybe some magic exists in the power of belief. If we all believe in that, I'm sure it will bring happiness.
Alright, now the next embarrassing thing. Let's all swear to believe together, alright? That we'll always be friendly, that we'll always be happy.
Screw becoming like our parents. Searching for each other's weaknesses, going after grandfather's fortune, screw all that forever. Alright, we'll always be friendly and happy, and let's all believe in that. No matter how long it had been or how much fun we were having, it didn't stop the dark clouds from approaching Rokenjima. By the way, this is like such a fucking Higurashi 5th arc moment. I think they have a conversation like this that basically is why they're able to start escaping the machine. I wonder if the typhoon will pass and show us the refreshing sky before we leave this island. Who gives a crap about what our parents are plotting? Who gives a crap about the inheritance and the honor of our old family? We're so young and renewing our old friendship, and every one of us believes together that we can all be happy. So I want this day to end without anything weird occurring, in peace and calmness, happiness calmly. No, not I want it to end. Please, let it end. In your dreams!
Yeah!
Damn it! Don't show up, don't appear. Damn. Sorry to keep you waiting. The new game has finally been prepared. Come, let us begin this tale of tragedy. Come to me, rain, winds, typhoon. Cut this island off from the real world. Throw Rokenjima into another world, into the netherworld, into a world of fantasy. Let's go. Yeah, fuck Rokenjima. And so the tale repeated for the 3rd time. However, before the endless switch, what point was there in counting 1, 2, 3? There was probably no point at all. After all, this tale of fantasy would be repeated endlessly until the match was settled and either battler or the witch surrendered. Are we gonna start jumping timelines like much quicker? And the sky grew dark and cloudy. The rain and wind were summoned together and became a typhoon. And Maria could be seen in the rose garden, paying no mind to the rain that had started falling, going around in circles, searching for that single rose which she had surely marked.
Not here. Not here. The rose we marked. My rose isn't here.
Maria definitely remembered it. That rose had been in the flower bed right here, and yet it wasn't. She didn't know what to do with her irritation at not being able to find something which should have been there, and moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. I know this feeling. She was acting almost as though she'd be able to see it if she looked at a different angle. When I'm trying to find something, I will go back through the same couple of spots that I think it should be, like, at least 3 or 4 times. Like, you're really not in that spot, you know? But try as she might, there was no way she would find something that wasn't there. Sometimes it is in that spot also. I'm just, like, not good at looking. The wind grew increasingly stronger and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way Maria wasn't bothered by this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. That feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain that were tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked. Maria raised her head. When she did, she saw that an umbrella was open there, protecting her from the rain. And the one holding out that umbrella was the witch she admired, Beatrice.
Beatrice! What are you doing so frantically in the middle of all this rain? You could catch a cold like this. Even witches have to care for their own health.
My rose, I can't find it. No matter how many times I search, even though it was definitely here, I can't find it.
Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, pitiful rose, and that she was sure they had marked it. Oh,
And you can't find it. If you are a witch apprentice, you should use magic to search for the rose. I believe that as long as you search with merely your eyes, it won't be nearly enough.
Can't find it. I did my best and tried to search with magic, but can't find it.
While this is certainly ideal for practicing your magic, it might be a little too much for you with all of this wind and rain. Allow me to lend you some special power. Concern for one's disciples is also among the duties of a master.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do. So she was sure that Beatrice would easily be able to find the rose that she couldn't find herself. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes, and spoke.
All things in this world are transitory. It is unfortunate, Maria. It seems that your rose couldn't withstand all of this wind and rain.
Then my roses.
It was uprooted by the wind and is no longer of this world.
What Beatrice had said was certainly plausible. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off at the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan.
No.
Oh?
No! It's my rose! My rose has to come back! I'll bring it back to life with my magic! Beatrice, tell me how to revive a rose with magic!
It's much too early for an apprentice like you to learn the hidden art of endless magic. Know your place.
She's not nearly as nice as her own master was. Maria wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Seeing that expression which so invited pity, Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled.
Very well. I will lend you power for the hidden art that can revive a rose.
Really?
Yes. Well then, concentrate the power of your heart. Close your eyes, forget the rain, forget the wind, search for the soul of the wandering rose with the eyes of your heart. Magic!
Woo!
Maria closed her eyes. Then she repeated Beatrice's poem-like words.
Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Don't look, don't listen, and believe. Release the power of your soul from the cage of flesh that imprisons it. That's it. Good.
Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, small golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria held? Landon with $2 says, Gosick greater than Umi garbage, uwu, Ellen moaning. Okay.
Lost soul of the rose, gather into one and remember your form. Come, gather, remember.
The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen, and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger up to the skies, and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. This was the miracle of the golden magic, and the gold butterflies began to condense into a single dazzling grain of gold. It was a single seed, glittering gold. It's a grief seed. It sat on the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. It then slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired magic and witches, must have really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that if she opened her eyes to look, the power of her heart's concentration would be interrupted and the magic would be lost. Therefore, it was Beatrice, the one permitted to lay eyes on that golden miracle, who was the one and only witch and the master of many miracles. Then the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkles scattered, just as if a golden soap bubble had popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose.
It looks like you've remembered a splendid rose. However, if we just leave it mixed in with these other roses, you won't be able to tell it apart. Shall I perform one last service?
Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice witch, who was moaning even more now in concentration, decided to cast one more little spell. That's a cool wallpaper. She snapped her fingers and a single gold butterfly appeared, fluttered around, and landed on the flower that had just been revived. Then it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and marking the rose.
This is sufficient. Maria, you may open your eyes now.
Where's the rose?
Is that a new expression for her? I don't remember this.
Not here. Not here.
Not over there, over here. Look, I have marked it with golden lace.
Oh, you did! Awesome, 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 awesome! Thank you, Piano. Thank you, Piano. I want to become a witch quickly, a great witch like Phantom.
And you can. Long ago, I too wished for that innocently, just as you do, and I have attained that level.
Maria was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased. I'm going to make you suffer for 1,000 years! Now, if I try, I can break or repair any soul, not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I please. So the barrier created by the storm has closed Rokkenjima off from the real world. Now is the time for the Golden Witch, the Endless Witch, Beatrice, to descend. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with the family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria. Maria frolicked around at being selected to be the witch's messenger.
So, Kinzo, I've come to join in on your fun once again. My preparations are already complete. What about you? I assume you have prepared enough coins to bet in tonight's game?
Naturally, I am fully prepared, Beatrice. I have prepared pieces in abundance. I am ready both physically and mentally. So let me pay the ante. All that you have given should be returned to you in the end. Now take it!
Kinzo flung the window of his study wide open and took off the reasonably large golden ring which had been on his finger, and threw it into the darkness of the raging wind and rain. The only thing reasonable about this man, the size of the gold ring on his finger. That ring was struck by lightning, and after twinkling gold for an instant disappeared. Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly.
I don't see myself losing. You are mine. Forever.
Golden Witch, forever. The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around in the wind and rain. It headed for the rose garden almost as though it was being guided there. It then found the figure of the Golden Witch and fluttered down. When it arrived right in front of Beatrice, it burst in a flash of gold and returned to its original form of a ring, flipping up into the air. It seemed as if it would simply fall back down into a puddle of water, but suddenly it stopped in midair, almost as if some transparent person had caught it. Somehow this seemed unexpected even to Beatrice. However, she soon realized who it was, and grinned broadly at it. It's a guy. As she did, the figure of the person who had caught the ring began to fuzzily appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform embroidered with the one-winged eagle crest. Is this Kinzo but young or something? There was no man like this among the servants who served the Ushiromiya family. Even so, Beatrice laughed as though it was someone she remembered fondly. Ronove, is it? It's been quite some time. It seems that you have remembered me. You always were a man who was serious about loyalty.
It is... Oh my god, is that fucking Tomokazu Sugita?
It has been a very long time since you last corresponded. There has not been a single day that I, Ronove, have forgotten that I serve you, milady. Indeed, I was more fearful that you had forgotten about me, milady. I have, after all, known you to be quite forgetful.
I see, yes, it seems I do forget easily. I couldn't even remember your wry speech until I heard it again.
For you, milady.
It's Bird. I think it's Kyon, right? Is it not Tomokazu Sugita? With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully and held out to Beatrice the head's ring that he had just caught.
It is the Ushiromiya family's head ring, returned to you from Ushiromiya Kinzo. It is now once again in the possession of its master.
Indeed, the proclamation by Kinzo that the game has started. I acknowledge receipt.
So, how would you like to play tonight? Shall I prepare the roulette immediately? Or shall I prepare some black tea first?
Both sound attractive, but for now I suspect I need you to greet someone. I'm quite sure that man has his mouth hanging open and can't shut it. Right, Battler?
Greetings.
Could this possibly be like the archer of a battler, like a battler, but he grew up and he's also from another universe or something?
Allow me to introduce myself. I am called Ronove, and I serve as the side of Milady Beatrice. It is truly a pleasure to meet you.
See? His mouth's hanging open and he can't shut it, right?
Isn't that obvious? Another incomprehensible guy's just appeared. I grumbled that goat-headed people would start doing the bond dance, and then goat heads start showing up in swarms, and since then not only have those 7 sexy-ass babes appeared, but now even a butler has goddamn shown up. It doesn't make sense. Cut it out.
By the way, Battler, did you notice? Have you realized that you're meeting him is a true devil's proof?
A devil's proof? What do you mean?
He may not look like it, but this guy is a genuine demon with his name amongst the 72. In other words, I've brought a demon right in front of you, which truly proves that they exist. Ronobe holds a noble rank in hell, the 27th highest ranked great demon. He's a pretty useful man. I summoned him at high cost and made him serve me.
It is an honor to be introduced to you.
Did she do this just to make him jealous?
While my name is amongst those of the nobles of hell, I now serve as the head furniture of Beatrice-sama, a vulgar human and great witch from whom even demons would flee in fear.
Landon with $5 says, OMG, the Victorian era girl has me feeling some kind of way, just wanting to ooh-woo right away. That's Beatrice the Golden Witch, Landon. That's who I took my whole identity from.
He's a very useful man, but he is impudent with his words. It's slightly frustrating that he sometimes forgets to respect his master.
There is nothing in my contract regarding the way in which I must speak. Would you like to change that contract?
It doesn't bore me, so it's fine.
Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. After bowing once to her back, Ronobe turned back to Battler and stuck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Normally, this would mean that he was asking for a handshake. What is this supposed to be?
I am also one who has been subjected to Milady's whims. In that sense, I am sure that we could become good friends. This is a handshake of friendship. Of course, it does not mean that you will be entered into a demon's contract, so rest assured. He's probably got a fucking electronic buzzer on his hand or some shit.
Sorry, but I'm right in the middle of a big fight with your master. I only shake hands with an enemy after one of those situations like you find in teen dramas, when we've beaten each other up in a rainy schoolyard and are all worn out. Remember that.
Sounds like a gay porno. I see. Then, to shake hands with you, Battler-sama, I must create a fitting atmosphere in a suitable location, and we must exchange body language and sweet words that ring true to the heart. Alright. I will find a suitable opportunity to prepare such a location. Love Hotel. I too love those kinds of situations, you know?
I can't help but imagine like a Umineko like producer talking to Ryukishi like, where's the gay one? What are the women gonna buy this for? Battler, his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away. Why isn't Tomokazu Sugita in this game yet? You're a creepy bastard. I see, just right for Bayado's butler.
It is an honor to receive such words of praise. I am very confident in my tea brewing abilities, so please look forward to tea time. Baking cookies is one of my hobbies, so I encourage you to have high expectations for the tea cakes and such.
He said and such, that's my thing. In real life I say and such the way that Maria says ooh.
Just what I would expect from a pair of the same gender. You started to get along well very quickly. I'm jealous.
My. I apologize most humbly for making you jealous, milady. I will not stealthily snatch your guest away from you. Well then, I will leave for now to greet the rest of the furniture and inform them that I have retaken my post as head furniture. Please forgive my short absence.
Only the common goats and the 7 sisters used for the ritual have manifested themselves. You will be able to finish up greeting them with ease.
Oh, those lively 7 sisters are here? I wonder whether those naughty girls have grown a little more graceful.
If that's graceful, I'd have to doubt the definition of graceful.
Is that so? It seems that you have already enjoyed some playtime with the 7 sisters. Judging by your expression, it seems that they are just as naughty as they were before. Even though I am always telling them to act more fitting as a group of those who serve Beatrice-sama. What troublesome kids.
If that's your problem, don't worry. They actually act pretty fitting for their master.
You have started to grow some guts. However, to have a conversation is to acknowledge the person you are talking to. Now that you have started to respond to my idle chatting, that is proof that you are gradually starting to accept my existence.
That's because even if the sun starts rising from the west, I will definitely never accept that you're a witch. Maybe if you start crying and kissing my shoes, I might be willing to have a more constructive discussion. Even if Battler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, revealing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to take on a new game, and that the preparations were complete. After Ronobe exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to battlers, scattered into gold butterflies, and disappeared. Okay. I really have to piss, and I'm getting really tired because I've fixed my sleep schedule and I'm like ready for bed. I like this chapter a lot so far. I think I will be more excited to play it, you know, because I was kind of with the last one, like, I left this behind for so long, it's like kind of a chore to finish chapter 2, but now that we're fresh on chapter 3, it's a little more exciting, you know? So maybe I'll feel inspired to do it a little bit sooner. I don't know. It depends on if everybody's available. We'll see. We'll see if there's a night that we're all available and we want to do this. Maybe it'll happen before Friday, or maybe it won't happen until Friday. Usually, I don't expect it to be Friday already by the time it's Friday. Friday just happens, and I'm like, oh, I guess it is Friday, isn't it? I think I perceive time as being slower than it is a lot of the time. All right, I super got to piss, so I'm ending it. Good night, everybody. Good to see you. See you probably tomorrow in some sort of content.